former quarterback over Toller, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So. And Casey Brown is his opponent, and that's in place 7.
So I was just looking at, you've got 8%. If you look at the early voting numbers, 8% of the vote is in. If Cricket's numbers are trending correctly for total votings, then you've got 12%. You'll have more voting. It's highly unusual to have more votes come in on election day than we have in early voting. That is highly unusual, so it makes for good television, Duke. So you kind of settle in right here with us tonight. So just to kind of take everybody how things are going to go tonight, we've given you the early numbers. Now we have to wait for everything else to come in. Right. We'll occasionally come on the screen and kind of rehash the numbers, and obviously you can watch them scroll when we're off the air and not talking. But we'll have different people coming on and interviewing throughout the night. So a lot of interesting interviews. It's a great place to keep things up. If you got to flip over the channel on TV, hey, just bring up your iPad. You can watch it right here on the iPad.
Heck yes, you sure can.
And we're enjoying our new set right here for.
You know, I feel like big time. You know, watching the NFL games, the college games, or any kind of interviews, and this is the backdrop, man. I feel like big time right here with this one. The Granbury media and the logo for the city of Granbury doesn't get better than this, Myers.
That's right. We're happy to bring it all to you. It's just respective of the work that our TV board does in conjunction with the city of Granbury. One of the benefits that we really work hard. We started doing live election returns a long time ago, but just happy the way things continue to progress and really looking forward to the night from the professional work that our director of public communication,
that's it,
Bethany, has done for the city. She's done a tremendous job getting us ready for tonight.
She's directing everything, got everything set up for us. We got a couple of cameras going. When we do the interviews, you won't have to be looking at Myers and I while the other person is talking, and that's a good thing. You know, I was talking to Bethany a little bit beforehand, and you mentioned about doing the live elections for a long time. We started doing those, and I finally figured out in the early 2000s, that's when we used to have the TV station, and was at the high school. We were channel 99, then we went to channel 7, and then 27. So we're coming up on 20 years of doing live election coverage. We started there. We used to have the high school kids helping with the election coverage.
What?
You know, we went from there. Then we went to the Alamo. We had them in the chambers a couple of times. This is a great venue right here because we can get a lot of people in here if need be.
Yeah, and with tonight's election returns, you're not going to know what's going to happen right here because we're going to have to watch and see how things go this evening. So stay tuned as we come in. Now, I would not expect to see any more boxes come in probably for at least an hour would be what I would normally expect to have happen. And the annex, where they actually count the vote, is very likely to be the first box to come in, what you'll see.
And, of course, with the results from De Cordoba, when the De Cordoba box comes in, you're pretty much done for the evening.
That's right. That's right.
All right, Kevin, I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's take us a quick break. We've got some folks that we're going to come back with and have a visit with, and we're going to be doing that all night. We got city people here. We got chamber people here. We've got people from the school board. We got President Jackson in the house, and that's a good thing. We'll be visiting with him about some things. Congratulate him on his tough election. It was a rough road for Mark.
Yeah, I know he stayed up late at night thinking about it.
He certainly did. Well, folks, we'll be back with more results. If we do get any boxes come in, we will certainly break in and get the information to you. Live election coverage here. We're down at the Conference Center in downtown Granbury. David Uecker, Kevin Myers, bringing all the live election results to you right here. 2019 live election coverage.
Cast this evening till all the boxes are in. You can follow them on your left-hand side of the screen as they come in. First up at the top is early voting. You see that it's reported. And then down the page, or I guess I should look this way, down the page it says not reported. These are each one of the voting precincts that will come in tonight, or the vote centers that will come in throughout the evening. Expect to see Annex 1. We expect it maybe about an hour from now. But in the meantime, we have joining us Shay Hopkins, Vice President of Economic Development for the Chamber of Commerce and I guess the City of Granbury and other municipalities that are all bought into that. So we're certainly glad to have you here this evening.
Thank you. I am glad to be here as well. This is my third week on the job, so I hit the ground running.
So we'll just start from the beginning. Let's say, where is home, and then how do you get to Granbury, Texas?
All right. Well, I grew up in Abilene, Texas, and that's where I kind of started my economic development career. But most recently, I was the regional economic development director in Fort Worth, and that's kind of how I came to know Granbury. So I brought a project out here, and I kind of fell in love with the community, loved the leadership, and loved everything about it. And I knew that when I talked to some people and thought that there might be an opportunity out here, that was where I wanted to go. So.
Great. Well, we're certainly glad to have it. And like you said, you've already hit the ground running here in Granbury, Texas. We'll try to cover a few kind of highlight things. I guess one of the things that many people would ask, and it really is a definition that is unique to each place that has economic development, but what do you see as economic development here in Hood County and the city of Granbury?
Perfect. Well, I think that economic development encompasses a lot of different things. So I think initially people think job creation, capital investment, and it's definitely those things. You know, I would love to see more jobs here in Hood County. Bring some of those people that are driving out and having to drive 30 minutes, 45 minutes to their jobs. I would love for there to be opportunities for them to work right here in Hood County, keep them closer to home, closer to family. And spending their dollars here in Hood County. So that's definitely one. Another thing is I definitely want to focus on business retention and expansion. I think that there's a lot of great companies already located here, and I want to make sure that they have the employees that they need to grow. I want to make sure that if they have an issue with anything that they're able to go to the city, go to the county, get those addressed so that they can flourish and expand right here in Hood County. And I think that a third thing is definitely looking at our workforce, making sure that our education is aligned with the needs of business in this area. And so those are all things that I'm going to be looking at. Granbury and Hood County as a whole already has so many wonderful assets. So another thing that it's going to be is just shining a light on that, letting the rest of the country know that we have really a fantastic community and a lot of opportunity here.
So coming from Fort Worth, obviously you driving through Abilene to Fort Worth, you know what Granbury is, but very much it's going to be about going to the businesses in Fort Worth and areas around that, and maybe those people that are thinking about moving into Fort Worth with their business and say, hey, let me tell you about this place that's only 30 minutes down the road that has the quality of life and everything that you and the people that work for you absolutely want and expect.
Absolutely, and that's what's going to give us a lot of our target industries is by looking regionally at what other communities are doing and where they've been successful. I think that that's going to be some low-hanging fruit for us to be able to look at some of those companies that are maybe supplying to them or that want to be close to a major metro, but they're not looking to be in a major metro. I think that we're a perfect and ideal spot really for them, and the quality of life and the cost of living are so good here that that's very attractive as well.
As an IT worker by trade, I've been with the hospital for 23 years, and I would tell you that very much we've always talked about sort of the digital workforce, that person that can work from home, but now we're talking about whole companies that are starting up and working out of the garage, out of the barn, out of the 15, out of mom and pop's condominium or whatever it is, that can live right here in Hood County and yet still conduct business. And how do you see that going?
Absolutely. So what I call that is really creating an innovation ecosystem. And basically what that means is really supporting those people that have those ideas, making sure that they're aligned with the resources that they would need to grow. So do they have a business plan? Do they have funding? Do they have those key partnerships that they need? And then when they get to that point, do they have the workforce and the people that they need to help run that company and to grow that company? And I think that all of those resources are right here in this region. It's just about connecting those dots. So.
Yeah, and speaking of connecting things, we're going to talk, probably the theme of this evening's interviews that we do, we'll be talking a lot about infrastructure and those kind of things, and the infrastructure investments that have to be made. And what are some of the things that you think that are already right, and maybe things that we might need to look at a little bit to get geared up for?
Sure. The city has done a really great job of letting people know where the resources are. And if there aren't resources, like let's say a company needs a plot of land. Right now, I'm having to kind of figure out where the utilities are and where the water is and where it needs to be expanded. So a company usually doesn't need to have everything lined up ready to go, but they would like a timeline and kind of cost associated with those things. And one good thing about companies moving in is they take some of that tax burden on. So they're going to help pay for those roads. They're going to help pay for that infrastructure for years to come that everyone can benefit from.
You know, and through the 23 years that I've been here and we've grown the hospital, there's a lot of I guess guidance that needs to be done related to, okay, you want to do this, you need to be at this meeting, at this meeting, at this meeting, and you need to do this paperwork and this paperwork and this paperwork. So sort of a concierge guide, I guess, for the process. And that's really what it is. It's a process to get your idea or your business from concept to actual reality.
And a big part of that is kind of we want to be the welcome mat for when companies do come. We want to make sure that the city and the county and the chamber and everyone is on the same page so that when we do have these conversations, we're all saying the same thing. We all have the same ideas. We're wanting the same things. And I think that that's how we're going to ultimately attract and then land the types of businesses that we want here. And I think that what's so neat about that is we've got a wonderful opportunity to really be in the driver's seat of what Granbury will look like, and so we get to be selective and we get to kind of choose things that fit with this community and decide what does and what doesn't.
Good. Well, I know you're eyeing some businesses already right up there in Fort Worth, and probably stop by there on the way to the office and on the way back to say, just going to Granbury today. Lovely place to be. And how long do you think it's going to take from startup to actually seeing meat and potatoes real results? Realistically, what do you think you'll see?
That's a tough question. Every business kind of is on their own timetable. From the first step is we get a request for information. And from that, they usually give you a timeline. They say, they want to have shovels in the ground in a year from now. So that's where, in some of the process, that's where we're at right now, is they're coming in for site visits. They're having those conversations. So realistically, I think that a timetable could be a year from now. We could start seeing some real movement. A lot of the hard part is that you can't talk about it until all the papers have been signed, until you really see some dirt moving. So we have a lot of things working in the background that I think that people will be excited when we're able to share everything that's going on.
So in your history of being in economic development, biggest job producer that you've ever worked and been a part of?
Well, being in Fort Worth, there were some big ones. So we were around when Facebook moved in. We were around now when tons of manufacturers have moved in. When I left, I had 98 open projects. So sometimes, when people ask me how many jobs that was or what the total capital investment is, the number is enormous, And so I can't speak to directly which one it was, but it was definitely something that landed in Fort Worth. And Fort Worth became regional about 2 years ago as well. So what's really nice about that is they saw the assets that were out here west of DFW, and they realized that they weren't getting the full bang for their buck by not including people outside of Fort Worth. So
yeah, that was one of the things I was going to ask you. We obviously talk about Fort Worth all the time. It is the major employer, although we have a lot of people that do live and work here in Hood County, but there's still quite a bit of the population, and still a majority of the population drive up 377 to Fort Worth to work. So, Fort Worth is always on our radar screen. And I would ask, how often in the conversations that you've had through the years is Hood County and Granbury on the radar screen of Fort Worth?
More in the last 2 years than ever before. I think that they started to realize we weren't being able to submit on projects simply because we didn't have the land, or we didn't have the rail access, or we didn't have some of the assets that they have out here. So more and more frequently, every time we were getting a project, instead of just looking at what Tarrant had, we were sending it out actually to the entire region. So we were sending it to Parker, we were sending it to Johnson, we were sending it to Hood, because they realized that a win in Hood County is a win in Tarrant County. And so we are starting to have some of the same ideas that the Dallas Regional Chamber has acted on for years. So, and I think that they can attribute some of that regionalism to their massive growth.
So you're officing out of the Chamber of Commerce,
I am.
and how can we reach you? How do we get in touch with you?
You can call the chamber and just ask for Shay, and if you have any other questions or concerns, I am so excited to be here, and I want to make sure that everyone sees that economic development is a lot more than just bringing new businesses in. It's about the overall economic growth of a region, and that includes the people and the businesses that are already here.
All right, great. Well, thank you. Thank you, Shay. We're glad to have you. Shay Hopkins, Vice President of Economic Development for Hood County.
And welcome back to Granbury Television. I'm Maureen Griffin, and I'm one of the volunteer board members with Granbury Media. And with me right now, I have Crystal Douglas. Crystal, who do you work with?
I am the sales manager for Lake Granbury Conference Center.
So right where we're standing,
Yes.
basically, yes.
Yes.
Now, I heard a little rumor that there was an amazing event a couple weeks ago. About 70 people showed up, 70 people that they did not expect to show up. What was this event about?
So this was the Granbury Young Professionals that the Chamber has just started. It was at Bob's off the square. They did an amazing job, brought out about 70 individuals that are in the 21 to 40-ish age, and it was absolutely wonderful. This is something that Granbury really needs as a town that has been widely promoted as a retirement town. That's not what we are anymore. We are an up-and-coming town that has just grown substantially since I've been a youth. I'm actually a Granbury native, graduated right here from Granbury. So it was absolutely wonderful, yes. It was absolutely wonderful to see a lot of individuals, most of which that I have not seen, which just shows even more how much we needed this group.
That is fantastic. I know we were talking before we came on air here, and I could see your enthusiasm for, like, this is exactly what we needed. I didn't know there was this many young professionals in Granbury. So when you say young professionals, what does that mean?
So young professionals are just any individual that's in the workforce that is here ready to make Granbury a better place and really bring in what we believe our town needs.
Okay. Now, say they live up in Fort Worth or Benbrook or somewhere, but they work down here. Can they be a GYP?
Most certainly. If you work here in Granbury or live in Granbury, this is going to be a great community for you to network and get to know some more people that are around your age.
That's fantastic. Now, I heard that there's a fun event coming up actually Thursday night, isn't there?
Yes, we are going to be out at Zen, and we are doing yoga or just networking and wine and beer. So you don't have to do yoga, but if you would like to come in your yoga pants, come on out.
Well, you know, it's funny. You said 21 to 40-ish. We've actually had people call the chamber, no joke, and say, well, what is 40-ish? I'm 46. I'm 47. What you guys say, like, well, we're not going to card you necessarily.
Exactly. We do not ID, so if you are still young at heart, come on out. We would love to have you in our group.
That's fantastic. What else for the young professionals coming up? Do you have anything that you're looking forward to? Any types of events? Any types of plans or agendas?
As of right now, we are just a networking group, but
Okay.
we are looking to widen this out to be more of tutoring, if possible, both with young and older groups.
Yes.
Also, we have plans of some really great events kind of once the spring rolls around and it
Yes.
starts getting a little bit warmer.
Yes. I heard something about like the mentoring. A lot of times people think that mentoring is only from older to younger. But I heard something really cool that they're maybe thinking about doing a mentoring where millennials, you know, y'all grew up with technology. You grew up with things that maybe somebody of my generation, Gen X, didn't grow up with. So I heard maybe a rumor there might be an opportunity to mentor up for those of us who, you know, maybe need help with technology or anything else that the millennials are really good at. That sounds fantastic. That's really innovative.
Yes, I think it's a great idea for both you and I,
Yeah.
for both sides of the spectrum, because there's most certainly things that you can help me. You are fantastic with marketing, so I would love to learn anything from you. So I think it's going to be more of a partnership that we can take and mentor each other.
That's fantastic. I love that. And then Bethany, we have Bethany over there behind the scenes. She's one of our GYPs. We can't turn the camera around on her, but just a lot of different representations. What kind of industries are you seeing folks from?
We have a lot of marketing here
Okay.
in Granbury.
Okay.
One of our other professionals is a chiropractor here in Granbury.
Oh, neat.
Banks, businesses.
Yes.
A lot of entrepreneurs, which is
Wow.
fantastic.
Yes. So and I think the millennials are more comfortable with entrepreneurship than previous generations, it seems like. So that's fantastic. And I know Rachel Derez, our director of membership,
Yes.
is the head of the GYPs.
Mhm.
She's excited about it too.
Oh,
so.
she is absolutely wonderful.
Okay, so remind us again, when is the next event? It's this week
So it's on Thursday at Zinden, and it starts at 5:30.
at 5:30.
Yes.
Okay, and social media? Y'all on social media?
Yes, we are on Facebook, so check us out, Granbury Young Professionals.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Crystal. I know you got to get home to your little one, your little 2-year-old, and thank you for sticking around and talking with us. We really appreciate it. And
Election coverage here on your local TV, Granbury TV, Granbury Media, YouTube, everywhere. We've got it going on. We're joined by Chamber Director Mike Scott to talk about quite a few things going on at the Chamber. We have no results yet, Mike. It's been almost an hour since we've had the early voting come in, no changes in the boxes. So you're here, a big night tonight for the community.
It is. It's a great night, David, and it's good to be with you again.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It has been
We,
a long
we used
time.
to do these, 10 years ago?
Yes, we did. We used to do it was the chamber report, the chamber update. We did them at the high school when the studio was up there, and you'd bring in businesses from all over the community. That was kind of a package deal back then, Mike.
It was.
The new chamber members would get an interview on television, and it was a pretty neat deal we had going there. Yeah.
Well, these are exciting times. I've been here 13 years, and I think every year it just gets better and better.
Yeah.
And we've got a great chamber. We've got a great staff. We're over 900 members now.
900. Wow.
We're one of the largest chambers in the DFW Metroplex.
Okay.
So we do the things that most people think just happen.
Yeah.
We're involved in a little bit of everything,
Yes,
as
you
you know, and you've already heard from a couple of folks today. We had Shay up here talking about economic development, and we're really excited about that.
No kidding.
The chamber, as you know, we went for a while without having an EDC in Granbury, and you're either growing or you're dying. So
Very true.
So we got really, really fortunate. We hired Shay away from Fort Worth Chamber, and she's hit the ground running, and she's been with us now 3 weeks, and we're looking for exciting things. So it's going to be a great year for Granbury. We had a great year last year. We just came off a great golf tournament. We had 31 teams.
Good
And
grief.
had basically filled up Harbor Lakes, and then we're getting ready to do our business awards banquet right after the first of the year.
Okay. Always a fun night.
Yeah, and we'll recognize all the businesses and all the great people, the man of the year, the businessman of the year, businesswoman of the year, and then, of course, the big award, the Howard Clemens Award.
Yes,
so,
yes.
so we're excited about that. We've got our Leaders in Government Luncheon coming up first week in December. Senator Birdwell's going to be there. Representative Lang will be there. Of course, a couple of mayors, the mayor of Granbury, probably the mayor of Crescent,
Okay.
Hood County Judge. So it should be a great event. And that'll be at De Cordova. So,
All right.
looking at the chamber as we go down the road, I mean, we do the Intergovernmental Coalition twice a year that you've been to, and we bring in all the municipalities and TxDOT, and we have an education committee, a water and environment committee, an economic development committee, education, I think I mentioned, and information technology. And all those people get together twice a year, and we work with we're working with TxDOT. The big thing right now in Granbury is transportation.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Highway.
If you were on 377 today.
Yeah, I was.
Okay, you saw what happened. Some kind of an accident. I think on 377, it was backed up down 144 in all different directions. But I know I talked to Mike Lang the other night. He came by the football game halftime, talking about Crescent specifically, talking about the changes that are going to happen to Granbury, Texas, when that bypass gets, and it's just going to be a 2-year project. which kind of surprised me in itself. But I know one of the big concerns, of course, is the widening of Highway 377, and we'll see.
Well, so I'm curious, what did he think the changes would be when we got the bypassing
I
Crescent?
think, well, now, of course, this is what I've
Because
always.
I have my own idea about
I do
that.
too. We're going to grow. We're going to grow exponentially. I think we will.
Yeah.
I've always felt that way, and Mike. It goes back to a time when I used to cover and cover everything. We had one of those meetings up there with TxDOT in Crescent talking about the bypass itself. This was back in the 2000s. And a guy came in to visit. He was just an outsider. And he had a question. He said, when are you going to do this? He said, I was going to move to Granbury, but when I got caught at the train, I turned right. I live in Weatherford.
Yeah.
And that always stuck in my mind. If
Yeah.
that would have opened, how much more we're going to grow. It's going to open. We're going to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. And so growth is coming.
Yeah.
We just need to figure out what we want to look
Yeah,
like
no
and,
kidding.
and how we're going to control it.
Well, you know-
I think the city's growing right now about 4%, which is probably a little higher than you'd like. 2.5% to 3% is pretty controllable. You get much over that, it starts to get difficult to
Right,
control.
it does.
So,
It does. And that's going to be happening.
Yeah.
A couple of months ago, I interviewed Roger Deeds, our sheriff, and he says right now in Hood County they have 30,000 911 addresses.
yeah,
So you do the math on that, you're minimum 75,000 people in the county. You know, back when we were doing shows, we were talking about, we just hit 50. But now this place is, but you guys with the chamber and the city and the school and the county working together, that's going to make a huge difference when it continues to grow like we know it will.
Yeah, and that's the exciting part about it. Like I say, I've been here 13 years, and I think right now the city and the county are working together better, along with Visit Granbury and all the other entities that are involved. We're working more with Crescent. Shay's going to be reaching out to both Toller and Lipan, and so I just see a lot of exciting things in the future.
I do too.
And
Well, Mike, this is great. Get back and do the things that we used to do on a weekly basis.
You bet.
Seemed like it
You
was.
bet.
Mike Scott, Director of the Chamber of Commerce. Once again, folks, no updates yet. We don't have any of the boxes that have reported in. As soon as that happens, we will get the results to you right here live on Granbury TV. Mike Scott, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Always great seeing you.
All right.
Thank you.
See you.
We'll be back with more after this.
All right, it's 8:01, and I told you that I thought it'd be about an hour before we would get any boxes. So we're past that hour mark. We have not received any additional boxes yet, but I do believe we're getting towards the witching hour when we'll probably start seeing those coming in. If you look at the left-hand side of your viewing screen there, you see early reported. That's the early boxes that reported. That's the 2 weeks of early voting that happens prior to Election Day, which is today. It's been, I guess probably about 2 election cycles ago, we switched from precinct voting, where you would have 16 boxes, to vote center voting. And so I'll go right down the screen there. You've got Acton, Annex 1, Centerpoint, First Baptist, Generations, Lakeside, Lipan, the PAC, which is Pecan Athletic or Activity Center, I think it is, St. Francis Cabrini, and then Toller. These are the 8 voting centers in the county. Used to be, when you did precinct voting, you actually had to be in that precinct to be able to vote in that precinct. No longer is the case. You can go to any one of these 8 places and cast your ballot, because we have the entire roll of the entire county are at each one of those sites. So, again, I talked to Cricket Miller right at 7 o'clock. Cricket Miller, Elections Administrator for the County of Hood, does a fantastic job with the work that she does, keeps us well informed about everything that's going on. She said that it's been a pretty heavy turnout, or I would say not even pretty heavy, a very heavy turnout on Election Day voting. So we're at 8%. We might get to about a 20% voting clip. I will say that we have 41,000 registered voters right now. That's up about 600 registered voters countywide from the 2018 general election that happened. So numbers are continuing to grow in Hood County. Voters in Hood County want to have their ballot cast, and tonight is that night. So what we're doing is we're just sitting here waiting for those boxes to begin to come in, and then we'll change them they'll change from the blue that you see of the red that you see of not reported to reported as we go through there, and you kind of follow along. Be 10 total boxes when we're completely done of everything, and we're just waiting for that first box to come in, and then it'll come in pretty quickly after that. Expect to see Annex 1 will be the first one that shows up. So, again, Kevin Myers, along with David Euchre and all of our crew here for Granbury Television and Granbury Media, happy to bring you live election returns. We're happy to be here this evening. This is a big fun night. Love that we're down in the conference center and that what it affords us. Maybe we'll get a chance to pan the room and you can see the number of people that are here watching the polls like the good old days. And a lot of interviews coming up. Stay tuned to this channel and online and everywhere else that you can watch what we do. So with that, we'll sit anxiously awaiting more boxes coming in.
Well, welcome back to Granbury Media. I'm Maureen Griffin, and I am joined here by Miss Susan Scott. Welcome, Susan.
Thank you.
And Susan is the president of the Hood County Library Foundation.
Yes.
What does the Hood County Library Foundation do?
We support the library. We raise money for the expansion. We raise money for signage. We actually raise money for anything the library needs.
Wow, that's a big job.
It has been in the last couple of years. It has been.
Yes. Now, the expansion project, excuse me, we'll make sure that my mic is on. And it was not on. The joy of live television. So, okay, we'll go back, and hopefully you heard that Susan was the president of Hood County Library Foundation, and I asked her what they did, and she said raise money, for the library.
Yes.
And let's talk briefly about the expansion campaign. Y'all raised a lot of funds for that. Is that correct?
Yes. To date, we've raised $512,000.
Wow.
And that was strictly for the expansion.
Okay, so the building part of it,
The building
the
part
physical
of it.
part?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
and I heard that there is a campaign coming up very soon. What are you raising funds for specifically now?
Okay. The library expansion is complete.
Okay.
And if you go in, you will see that the facility is gorgeous.
It is gorgeous.
The children's area, the teen area is all furnished with grant money,
Okay.
but there's no place to sit.
That's not good.
in a lot of the sections of the library.
Yes.
So we are going to try to raise $125,000 in additional funds
Okay.
to completely fit out the library.
Wow.
That means that they have given us a list of all the furniture they need, all the electrical equipment, computers, tables, absolutely everything.
Okay.
And we would like to be able to help them finish the library so that the county doesn't have to complete the project
Right.
in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years.
Right. In a timely manner.
Yes.
What kind of a timeline does the foundation have a goal?
We do. Our campaign is going to be finished in March.
Okay.
We've been raising money for the last 2 years, and we did our goal as far as the county was concerned with
Right.
the $500,000. The list came from the library of things they needed.
Right.
So we stepped up to the plate and decided we would continue with our campaign for another few months to see if we can finish.
Right, as any good foundation does.
Yes,
So I had the
absolutely.
joy of going in there and interviewing Rhiannon, and it is amazing. Just like you said, the teen area. I mean, when I was a teen, we didn't have a place to sit in and be able to, to talk with our peers, be able to sit and read. It just felt cozy and like home. And then over in the children's, I loved that it was kind of like enclosed.
Yes,
So
glassed
families,
in.
So families, I kind of joked with her about like, oh yeah, that way we don't hear screaming kids. But she's
Right.
like, no, but really, that's how little ones learn how to read and whatnot. It's through the interaction and through the movement and through engaging with their, family or whatnot. So I thought that was really interesting.
It is.
So-
Before the expansion project, our foundation toured libraries through Texas.
Okay.
And the one thing we saw was that libraries are more than places for people to go get books.
Oh, absolutely.
In this day and age, children can learn on computers. Teens have a place to socialize
Yes.
that's safe.
Yes.
People can come in and read a newspaper privately.
Mm-hmm.
Not right now because there's no place to sit.
Right.
But in the future, they'll be able to.
Yes.
The computer programs that they're going to offer, literacy programs.
Yes.
We also have conference rooms now that can be utilized, which already are booked on a daily basis every day. The conference rooms are full.
That's what she told me, and I thought it was really neat also that the adult literacy program there with those
Yes.
with the smaller conference rooms, it gives you the privacy to sit there, one-on-one with your
Yes.
tutor or your mentor, and as an adult learn how to read.
Right. And it took a while for people to be comfortable with that idea.
Yeah.
Because there's a stigma. And a lot of people didn't feel comfortable.
Right.
But now it can be a one-on-one in a really nice location. So,
It is
yeah.
gorgeous. I was in there upstairs, and you have those big, huge picture windows, and you just look out at the city park, and it is an amazing facility.
It is gorgeous.
And just the way that y'all laid it out, having it accessible to everybody with the elevators and whatnot, it's going to be fantastic. So we need to raise money to
Yes.
get seating in there so people can enjoy it.
We do.
And
Yes.
and I think you mentioned also, I was talking to Rhiannon, not just seating but other things.
Yes.
She was talking about like the coding club for the kids.
Yes.
That was amazing. They just want some laptops, some
Yes.
cheap little, inexpensive Chromebooks. These
Right.
kids are learning how to code. They're learning how to do things that, when I was a kid probably didn't even exist. But
Right.
and it, like you said, it's in a safe place, a safe
is.
environment.
It's a
So
safe environment.
as a mom, and your kids there and having fun with their friends and learning, I mean, what more could you ask
I know.
for? So
Yes.
if people do want to give, what's the best way? If somebody wants to write that $125,000 check tonight, or you take, like you said, you take $10 donations also.
Absolutely.
What is the best way?
You can go on hclfoundation.com
Okay.
or hclfoundation at yahoo.com
Okay.
and do that over the internet.
Okay.
Or you can mail a check directly to the Hood County Foundation.
Okay. That sounds fantastic.
Yes.
And we're getting the hurry up and wrap it up signal, so we're going to go. Thank you so much, Susan, for
Thank you.
joining us
Thank
tonight.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got results in the annex as reported, Kevin, and this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, so Annex 1, as everybody knows, that's where we do early voting for the first 2 weeks. But as I talked about earlier, we've switched to voting precincts, so the more senior people that are watching the broadcast tonight would tell you, when that precinct box comes in, well, that's everybody. Yeah. Well, that's no longer the case. You can't count on that anymore because anybody can vote anywhere in any one of the voting centers. So it is not over till it's over, Euchre. So we're going to go down these numbers and kind of tell you where we're at and kind of give some idea of what we think is going to happen. Well, we're still what I feel like after talking with Cricket Miller, elections administrator, we're still a long way from the vote totals being in. So
heck yes, we are. We want to start at the top. Prop 1 is 65% against. Prop 2 is 60% for. Prop 3 is 87% for. Scrolling on down here just a little bit. Prop 5 is 81% for, 90% on Prop 5, 59 to 40 on Proposition 6. That's interesting.
Yeah, we'll go back and look at what each one of these propositions are. Maybe the more contested ones, we'll talk about what those propositions actually are. But let's get all the way through. Prop 7 is at 68% for. Prop 8 is 74% for. Proposition 9 is at 56% for.
Wow,
and you'll say
close.
that's close, yes, but in Hood County numbers, it's really not that close and probably won't change. And you need to kind of look at how these statewide propositions are voting, trending in the county versus the greater stater numbers. So not all the state propositions are not being decided in Hood County.
Not in Hood County, no. We're just giving you the results of what's going on here. In Day Cordova, we've got the mayor's race is Dave Hansen and Todd Hall. Dave Hansen up 51 to 48. That's tight. Council member place 4 in Day Cordova, Judy Cordell against Kim Carter-Lewis, is 54 to 45 in favor of Cordell. And place 5, Kathy Murray, Jim Galman, exactly the same.
Exactly
50-50.
Now, remember, this is the annex box that is in, not the Acton Baptist box
Not
that is in.
Cordova. That's right.
So that's right. So most people live by the Acton box or St. Francis Cabrini. For the De Cordova races, that will be the two boxes that you really need to watch.
Right.
A boat
Exactly
center
right.
where you would expect to see most of the boats.
No kidding. Moving on down to the city races, and for Mayor Nen Hewlett, the incumbent at 64%, Joe Davis at 35%. This is going to be a fight to the finish. 17 votes right now, Kevin. Separates Lee Overstreet, Eddie Rodriguez. Eddie holding that advantage right now, of course.
And I think that tightened up just a little
It
bit
did.
from the annex box coming in.
Yeah, it did. Mark Jackson, of course, we talked about, and Barbara Townsend, no opponents, they win. Now, Trustee Place 7 is an interesting race. Bob Swearingen picked up a few more votes. He's at 53%, and Rhonda Rosoffi is at 46%.
Yeah, and the Toller races, Council Member 1, Matt Hutzel, is unopposed. Council Member Place 2, John Agee and Sally Grimes there, 50-50 tied, and that's 14 votes. You know, one family that brought the carload will swing that vote one way or the other. Really
exactly
and truthfully,
right.
in
No
this
kidding.
kind of a race.
Yep, exactly right. Place 3, Chip Foster, and place 5, Dalton Nix. No opponents. And place 6, it's a three-way race. Wendy Bonnell right now, 41%. Wayne Weinecke, 34%. Cody Fletcher at 24%.
And then your Trustee Place 7 race, Casey Brown is at 33%, and Justin Deaver 66.93. Again, you would expect to see the Toller box there, but you know, people driving home to Toller can vote in this race, so they may have stopped in several different places along the way and voted. So don't make the mistake of saying, "Oh, well, everything is as it is," because this particular box has come in. It is not going to finish until all boxes are in.
Exactly right. That's kidding. Of course, the city's going to be a little bit different because of just in the city limits of the folks that can vote. School board's going to be a long evening, and of course De Cordova. But we'll have all the results coming up for you. We've got a winner coming up here in just a second. President Jackson will be joining us here.
That's right.
And also the man of the hour in any place that I've ever been, J.C. Campbell, the great J.C. Campbell, will join us here to talk about Veterans Day. So finally got our first box in.
That's right. So stick around. It'll start coming in quicker. So we'll come back on anytime that we have a new box come in. We'll go down the results, see how things are changing, see the way things are running for the evening. But I still expect we're not even to the halfway point of this evening getting all the votes in. So going to be a fun evening to watch, an interesting evening in Hood County. Unusual voting activity tonight as compared to many of the races that we've watched.
So you're telling me, Kevin, I've already missed Duke and Kansas. You're telling me I'm going to miss Michigan State and Kentucky?
This is even better than that.
Okay, exactly right. We'll be back, folks. Thank you for watching. Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As promised, we've got Mr. President is back in office again. Mark Jackson, congratulations, Mark. No opponent. You got to love having that guy named unopposed.
Oh, man, don't I ever. I still sweat a little bit tonight.
I know you
I'm gratified that I've been able to run and go unopposed. Hopefully that says something maybe that the community's at least satisfied.
Well, I think
with
it does.
the job I'm doing.
It obviously does, Mark. When you and Barbara, of course, with the same situation, both of y'all unopposed and winning, of course, getting the big votes in, and obviously how well the school is doing. We're growing. A lot of things happening. The physical plant. There's some discussions going to be taking place there. But I tell you, one of the neatest things that I've seen come along in a long time was what you guys did with Charleston State University. The deal that you pulled with them, that is something very special for the kids at Granbury High School.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we try to create opportunities for our kids. It's very important to us that when they leave our campuses that they have options.
Yes.
And excellent options. And what better than a first class, now Tier 1 university right in our backyard. Right. And I got to give credit to Dr. Glenn. He dreamed this up. He put it out there. And, they had a little change of leadership down there. Mm-hmm. But Dr. Hurley really picked it up and ran with it. We were able to bring this deal together pretty quick. And it's exciting. First and foremost for the kids, it's just an exciting thing for them.
It certainly is. What Datavio did when he was down there, I got to interview when he first took the job, and I remember, without fail, I remember him saying, "I'm going to make this a D1 school." Yep. Mission accomplished. But of course, Hurley comes in, and now with Dr. Glenn here, very innovative gentleman that you have as a superintendent. He's a joy to be around and a great addition to this community.
You know, he absolutely is. And he's a ball of energy.
Yes, he is.
If you know Jeremy personally like I do, he is hard to keep control of at times. But I love his enthusiasm, his love for kids, his acumen for education. Yeah. He's a little bit of a legal eagle, too, on the side, and really digs some things up that are real eye-opening and useful. And the bottom line for us is we want to run our schools efficiently and steward our taxpayer dollars and give these kids the best quality education we can.
And doing a good job of that.
Can't have a better guy at the helm than Dr. Glenn.
Exactly right. Of course, my broadcast partner there, Dr. Jeremy Glenn, joining me for a couple of football games. It won't be the last. And, that's an encouraging thing about him is he is at all of the events. Doesn't matter if it's a sporting event or if it's a band or if it's something at the middle school. Dr. Glenn is a part of the school and a part of the community. That's huge for people to be able, someone that is visual as he is.
Yeah, he, and he's quite the family man.
Yeah.
And a very good, fine Christian man. And you'll often see his boys with him, and they want to be there. Yeah. Carissa wants to be there, his wife. They love it. They just live and breathe public education and the whole atmosphere that you mentioned, whether it's game night or performance at the auditorium or some kind of dinner going on at the high school. He's always going to be there. So
got a couple of more boxes that have come in. We'll check into those, but yeah,
I better go check my results, make sure I'm still in. Right?
We got that. We got that guy that snuck in on the ballot. No, I don't think so. But
all right.
Yeah, we'll get to that real quick, folks. Mark, thank you so much.
You bet,
thank you for your
Thank
service,
you.
man, because it is a thankless job that you guys do at the school board, and we really appreciate what you guys do for the community. Obviously, everyone does with the way things turned out tonight for you.
Well, thank you, David. I appreciate you guys being here and delivering these results.
All right. President Jackson, thank you very much, sir. Mike, ladies and gentlemen, as promised, we've got a couple of more boxes that have come in. Lakeside Baptist and Center Point have come in. Let's get to the numbers. We've got the mayor of De Cordova. It's Dave Hanson at 51%, Todd Hall at 48%. City Council council member fourth place over there in De Cordova, Judy Cordell at 53%, Kim Carter-Lewis at 46%. Council place 5, it is Kathy Murray and Jim Gallman. Still tied. Now it's 156 each. It was 155. That's obviously a very tight race. Marion Hewlett here in Granbury at 63%. Joe Davis at 36%. In place 2, a very tight race. It is separated by 25 votes. Eddie Rodriguez with 50% and Lee Overstreet with 49%. That's going to be a tied one all evening long. Turning to place 5, of course, Mark Jackson and Barbara Townsend unopposed. And then we go to the school board, Bob Swearingen at 54% and Rhonda Rizolfi at 45%. Over in Toller, Matt Hutzel is unopposed. And we've got the 14-14 tie still with Agee and Grimes. Chip Foster is unopposed, as is Nix. In place 6, Wendy Bonnell is still at 40%. Wayne Weinecke at 33%. Cody Fletcher at 25%. And in 7, Justin Deaver, old QB1 at 67% over Casey Brown. So those are the latest. We've got those 2 in, and we're going to go back. You guys can check out some of the results, and I'll be back to visit with the one and only J.C. Campbell, and we'll be talking about Veterans Day coming up on Monday. So results coming in. We'll keep pouring them out to you. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, at the events around the community, every place you go. The one and only J.C. Campbell is such a huge part of this community. And JC, we've got a great day coming up for us. Coming up on Monday, that's going to be Veterans Day. But this year's very special of what all we've got going on this one coming up Monday.
It certainly is. It's not only are we going to have a lot of veterans there, we're going to have a lot of students
Yes,
there.
yes.
Our new superintendent, Dr. Jeremy Glenn, has said that we will fill up the auditorium, which is, I think, about 2,500. I think's what's there, what the capacity is of the auditorium. But we do have we want to have a lot of veterans there. We want them to bring their families, and then anyone is invited. Everyone is invited to come, whether you're a veteran or not, because this is your chance to say thanks to those who gave us the opportunity and the privilege of sitting in those chairs. Exactly. And it gives the students the privilege of us knowing who gave them the opportunity to sit in their chairs in school.
Exactly right.
So we need to be thankful for that.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, Joe, of course, we want to point out to everybody that if you are a veteran and you would like to come to that event, it starts at 11 o'clock on Monday at the high school. Please come to that, because what JC and the guys have done is the first 4 rows down at the front of the auditorium that is reserved for veterans. So you're going to have a place to sit, and you'll be honored during the event. And it's we're going to have a speaker honor each branch of the service, and it's going to be a great day.
It is. If we have an overflow of veterans, well, we'll just set them where we can. But we want to fill the auditorium.
Yeah, we do.
Because this the Veterans Day event this year is going to be simulcast.
That's right.
And the
that's Granbury.org/live. That's how you can do it. You can watch it live. That's greatness.
But we'd rather have you come to the auditorium.
Yes, true.
Because we're going to have this year, for the first time, we're going to have the Granbury High School Choir.
Yeah.
And so they're going to be making some presentations there that you'll want to hear. And excuse me, we got our JROTC, and we're proud of them because they work with us every day. I mean, every year, and sometimes in between, to promote not only our high school but the Veterans Day and the Memorial Day program. So we would love for you to come and to be a part of that. This year we've got a what Veterans Day means to me essay contest.
That's right.
Again, this is the 6th year I think we've done that, and we have a winner. I don't know who it is. Nobody knows. It's in the envelope that you're going to open.
That's right.
And then we'll know. Everybody will know who won, and the winner is from the 6th grade to the 12th grade.
Right.
And the winner gets a $100 gift card.
That's right.
Provided by MOA.
Okay.
It's Military Officers Association of America.
Right.
And we appreciate their help on this. So, yes, but we expect to have a full house.
I think we will. Yes.
Yes.
It's going to be a wonderful day. And then at 2:00 that same day, that's when we'll have the parade. And we've also found out about the parade. We're going to have JROTC leading the way. We've got the cheerleaders. We've got the Granbury High School Band is going to be leading the way for the Veterans Day Parade. Couldn't be a better way for that to happen.
And I understand that Cornerstone Christian Academy is going to have a band.
That's right. Yeah.
They got a small group, but they're just as valuable to us as the big one is. So, but we want to invite everyone to come out to the auditorium. As David said a while ago, it's at 11 o'clock on Monday. It's Veterans Day, and then after that, to hang around town for the parade.
That's right.
Because we're going to have a flyover. Whenever the parade gets to the square, we're going to have pecan plantation flyers that's going to come and do the missing man formation.
Missing man formation.
Yeah, and that's always sends a chill up my mind.
It does. It's a very moving moment.
It is. But anyway, we want to invite everyone to come.
That's right.
It's a very special day, so come on down and join us and be in celebration for Veterans Day. So,
all right, J.C. Campbell, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Number one, thank you for your service, sir. And
thank you, sir.
Not just in the military, but what you do for this community. It goes way beyond. And thank you so much. Your family's such a part of this community. Don't forget, if you can't be there, it's 11 o'clock. You can go to Granbury.org/live, and you can watch it. We'll be streaming it, and we're gonna video the parade and be able to share that with the community later on.
At a later time, yeah.
That's right. So 11 o'clock for the ceremony at the high school, at the auditorium, and 2 o'clock for the parade downtown.
I'm going to remember that address.
Okay.
Because I've got some friends in Australia. I'm going to let them know. And for friends in my Navy group, my USS Frankie Evans group.
Right.
We're going to get it put in our newsletter so that some of our members will watch it, and they're all from all over the United States. So.
Well, all right. We'll give them a good eye then, Dan Australia, Dan Unda.
Yeah, down under. Yeah.
Right.
Good day, good day, mate.
That's it.
All right.
All right, JC.
Well,
thank you very
sir.
much.
We appreciate you.
We shall see
What
you Monday.
do.
We'll be back with more boxes right after this.
Thank you.
We are back. Been watching the scrolling. I don't know which is better, look at scrolling or you and me, Myers.
Exactly right. Well, while we were away, the Toller box came in, and so take everything that I have said up to this point about vote centers being spread out all over the county. Now I will make the statement that Toller people tend to vote in Toller.
Yeah.
And so with the Toller box in, we're going to look specifically at the Toller races and run those down for you real quick.
Yeah, we've got Matt Hutzel, who is place 1. He's unopposed. Place 2, John Agee and Sally Grimes. Sally with 53% and John with 46%. And like I said, we don't know if that's going to be all of it. Chip Foster had no opponent. Go the rest.
Yeah, that might not be the final numbers, but we're also looking at the trustee place. At the place 5 trustee for Toller ISD. Dalton Nix is running unopposed, but the real race is the trustee place 6 Toller ISD. Wayne Winnicky with 28% of the vote, Cody Fletcher with 20% of the vote, and Wendy Bunnell with 50% of the vote. And you could ask me, well, is 50% mean they're going to win? In school board races, it is a plurality. And what that means is that nobody has to get 50%. Mm-hmm. So in your statewide election races, you normally have to have 50% of the vote plus 1.
Right.
All right. But in school board races, that is not the case. It's merely who has the most votes,
right,
in any one race in the school board races. So as it looks right now, Wendy Bunnell with the Toller box in is certainly favored in that race to win.
Looks like it. And Justin Deaver with a 73% of the vote over Casey Brown with 26%. Looks like Justin will be prevailing in place 7 for ISD. So
again, we would probably, I mean, going back to originally what I said, these numbers may still are subject to change from the other vote centers, but in the Toller boxes, I would say it was probably highly doubtful that they will change much from what you see right now. So congratulations to those people that are winning in those races. I do expect that is the way it will wind up.
Probably so. All right. So that's the Toller and the Toller Situation School Board, and also for the council. So nothing else in yet. As soon as it is, we'll be getting we'll be coming back on camera with, and we'll probably be having some more interviews come up to you. So here we are, Kevin, live election coverage.
Yep, it's been a fun night. So we'll be right back.
More boxes continue to come in, Kevin. They're really beginning to come in at a quicker pace than I expected.
Well, and that's kind of that's the trend we've been seeing for the last several elections. Since we went to vote centers, there's a big gap between early voting numbers and then once the vote center numbers start coming in. So the boxes that have come in as we were off the air were Generations, and I believe Acton Baptist has also come in. I think are the 2 boxes that came. So there's still 3 boxes left out there. You see 3 not reported: First Baptist Church, Pecan Activity Center, and St. Francis Cabrini have not reported. So there are some changes in the numbers in the day Cordova race.
Ain't no doubt it got very tight over there for the mayor's race. I mean, all 3 of these races. This will be down to the last. Dave Hansen at 50%, Todd Hall at 49%. There are, 13 votes separating those 2 men. Council place 4, Judy Cordell with 51%, Kim Carter-Lewis 48%, and that is 26 votes separating those 2 ladies. And then in place 5 is Kathy Murray with 46%, Jim Gallman 53%. He's got just about a 45-vote lead there, so very close. And
so as the geographics of the county go, I would expect that when you talk about voters, can vote anywhere in any one of the vote centers, but I would tend to think that Acton voters are going to vote either in the Acton Baptist box or in the St. Francis Cabrini box will be where you see most of those votes be cast. So the with the Acton Baptist box in and with the St. Francis Cabrini box still out. You may have some changes in there, but once you've got that, I do not see any real impact probably from the from Pecan Activity Center. That'll probably be only school board votes and of course the state propositions. And then First Baptist again will probably be only school board votes and state proposition.
Exactly right. We got our two council races here. Mayor Nin Hewlett with 63% of the vote. Joe Davis at 36%. Eddie Rodriguez and Lee Overstreet are very, very tight. 50% to 49%. Eddie is leading Lee by 26 votes as we speak.
Well, and that First Baptist box will have some impact on that as well. St. Francis Cabrini, yes, absolutely. Both of those two pockets have areas of the county that are inside the city limits,
that's right.
Inside the city limits. So those votes can sway. Those two boxes can sway things.
Certainly can. Looking on down, let's see, where were we? Oh, yeah, the school board race. Of course, the two are already decided, but you've got place 7, Bob Swearingen now with 55% of the vote. Rhonda Rizalfi at 44%, and we just got First Baptist is in. That was a question. So it only leaves two boxes left.
We'll push the little refresh button here.
Here we go. Let's just refresh.
Modern technology.
Don't you love it?
While we're refreshing that right there, somebody asked me the question while we were off there. Well, wait a minute. It says all the precincts have voted, and the answer to that is a very misleading statistic on the screen there. Almost has no meaning whatsoever, because when we change to vote centers, votes can now be counted across all 15 precincts. So anytime you get any votes in any of the precincts, it's going to say those precincts are in, but not all the votes in those precincts are in, because you can vote in any vote center. So really it's there, but it really doesn't mean anything anymore.
No kidding. It certainly doesn't. A little bit of a change with that last box that came in. Councilperson place 2, Eddie Rodriguez, now up by 40 votes over Lee Overstreet, 798 to 758 in that particular race. That's his widest lead of the evening.
Nin Hewlett comfortably in. Yes. I think at 63%. We will see Nin have his third term in office as the mayor of City of Granbury. First term was actually finishing out the term on the unfinished term of the previous mayor.
Right.
Nin had been reelected, and now this is his second reelection.
Excellent.
So this will be a third term for him.
And as as place 7 trustee of the GIC School Board, Swearingen at 55% and Rhonda Rizalfi at 44%. So that race is that's about where it was second year. They didn't change very much in that one.
Yeah, so really just waiting on the last two boxes to report. That's Pecan Activity Center and St. Francis Cabrini Church will be our last two boxes to report. I expect them very shortly.
I do too. We're looking forward to that. Almost got it finished here for the evening, but you know where to keep it tuned, because we'll be back with more of it. Welcome back. There we go.
Well,
we're done.
We were kind of hanging around there. We actually had gotten the St. Francis Cabrini box a little bit a few minutes ago, but we were waiting for the last Pecan box to come in. So we have the official results now.
We are done. We certainly are. We're going to go through the whole list. These are the state propositions. This is what happened in Hood County. State Proposition 1, 66% against. State Prop 2, 62% for. Prop 3 at 87% for. Go ahead and get
Prop
some more.
Prop 4 is 84% for. That was one that a lot of people were watching, related to the state income tax. That passed to block state income tax from being on the ballot.
Yeah. That looks like it's going to be another one. Prop 5 is 90%. Now, this was a close one we talked about earlier here. Prop 6, 4 is 59% against is 40%.
Yeah, and so, in the history of what I've been watching, most of the propositions will be in the 80 to 90%.
Yeah.
So you got some voters that really studied the ballot and didn't just straight vote all the way down the ballot.
Exactly. Prop 7 was 69 to 30. Prop 8 was 74 to 25. That's 4. Prop 9 was 5742. There's another close one. That was for. And Prop 10 was, there's a big one, 96% for.
Yeah, and remember, folks, as you said, this is just how these voting came out in Hood County. These are just a part of one of the 254 counties that will be voting on these statewide propositions.
Exactly. Moving on today, Cordova, it looks, good heavens. Here, the mayor's race, Dave Hansen and Todd Hall are separated by 9 votes, 50.76 to 49.24%. My goodness.
I'm going to push Euchre's little button because the numbers are just a little bit different than what he's got right there.
Okay,
I'm going to say
results are gone.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So it's Dave Hansen ended up with 51% of the vote, 377 to 362. So he wins by a total of 15 votes there for the mayor, Day Cordova. Congratulations to Dave Hansen. Council member place 4, Day Cordova, Judy Cordell will be the winner in that race, 375 votes to 349. And then place 5, Day Cordova, Jim Gallman ended up with 391 votes to Kathy Murray's 340 votes right there.
Okay. Granbury Marion Hewlett was reelected, 64% of the vote, so congratulations to the mayor.
And we'll have the mayor here
Joe
shortly
Davis.
for a congratulatory interview.
And, of course, that very close race from the time we got early voting, and it finishes very close. Eddie Rodriguez with 861 votes and Lee Overstreet with 826. Mighty, mighty close.
Very, very, very close that race was, and congratulations to both those guys running that race. I believe we will have Eddie Rodriguez will be here to talk to him and sort of introduce him to Granbury.
Heck yes, we sure can.
Trustee place 5 and place 6 were both unopposed, so congrats to Mark Jackson and Barbara Townsend for returning to the school board, and new school board member tonight for place 7, Bob Swearingen wins with 58% of the vote. And you knew him when you were at the high school.
Yeah, Bob used to be a teacher. All of his girls. I don't know if everyone remembers back in the day when we had Granbury Live and the great race, which by the way is coming back. Lily Swearingen, his oldest daughter, was a phenom singing at Granbury Live. Little bitty thing, and she had a voice that was amazing. All his girls went to Granbury High School. Bob taught there for quite a few years, so he's back serving the community as one of the school board members.
Well, I scrolled up the screen. Hold on just a second. Let me get right here.
All right.
Toller. All right, we're back to Toller. Matt Hutzel unopposed in place 1 for the Toller council member. The council member place 2, Sally Grimes, will be taking that seat with 53% of the votes, 62 votes to 54 votes over John Agee. Chip Foster was unopposed. He will be returning as a place-free council member. Trustee place 5, Toller ISD, Dalton Nix, ran unopposed in this thing. And then the race with 3 members in it, Trustee place 6, Toller ISD.
Looks like Wendy Bonnell will win that. 50% of the votes. Warnicki had 28 and Fletcher with 20%. And QB1, Justin Deaver, 73% of the vote. He'll be a trustee place 7.
All right, that is the rundown of all of tonight's election returns. We certainly appreciate everything that's going. Give us just a minute to round up Mayor Nen Hewlett and Eddie Rodriguez, and we'll be right back with you for some final interviews.
There you go. We'll be right back, folks.
All right, we're on trying to get the mayor back on the brand new set behind us here, Mayor.
Wow,
Isn't that nice?
That's beautiful. What happened to the old one?
The old one is in good place. We know you got it ready for 50 Fellas Food Fest next year. Absolutely. So let me be the first to congratulate you, Mayor Nen Hewlett, for your 3rd term elected as mayor.
This will be my 3rd term. Yeah, Kevin.
3rd term as mayor of the city of Granbury,
Yes, sir.
and I know that you have represented us well and going to continue to do so for 3 more years as the mayor. And then it just, I guess, as a place to start to talk about, that's a lot of water under the bridge now. And you've gotten a lot of things accomplished here as mayor. What are some of the things that you're proudest of that you've been able to accomplish while you've been mayor here?
Well, Kevin, one of the things and I've talked to people, and I could sit here and talk about infrastructure. I can talk about bridges. I could talk about things we built. But, when I was running this campaign, the thing that just struck me the most was when I knocked on doors and the people came to the doors and told me how proud they were of Granbury, Texas. And they talked about what a great community we have. I couldn't wait to knock on the next door to get that information from these people, because the people in Granbury loved to live here in Granbury, and they would tell me a few things maybe that they thought could be improved on. And we've already started addressing some of those, but all in all, the whole community loved living here, and they credit it not only to me, but to the council and to the staff and everybody else. But I had to look out there and say, I credit a lot of it to the citizens living here in Granbury, because they're what makes Granbury, the citizens out there, and they're the type of people. And so we want to continue to build the infrastructure and the housing for those type of people, because they are the type of people that want to live here in Granbury, and I want to make sure that they have the quality of life that they deserve.
Well, then let's just run down a couple of the big, as you say, infrastructure projects. Right. Obviously, getting the wastewater treatment plant online in this last year, and now expanding it already. Right. But everywhere you drive around the city of Granbury, you see little improvements being made road-wise, and all of those kind of things. All of those are the process of planning and putting forward a plan and paying for that plan, and then holding steady with the tax rate as you do it.
You're exactly right, Kevin. And the main thing is too that we are building for the future, and we're not building for next year, 2 years out, 5 years. We're building for some of this stuff 50 years out, and that's the way to do business. That's the way to build the infrastructure, because it's expensive. But if you can put the price tag on it now, and later on see your children or your grandchildren, and that's still there, just like our city hall and things like that, our water plant. It could be there for 50 years. We got 5 phases that we can go through on this thing, and that's what we have to do. And we have to look at that and build our roads, build our infrastructure, build everything for the future way out there.
Well, Nan, I know that everybody's proud of the job that you've done.
Thank you.
And you represent us well, not only when you're sitting there at the dais and banging the gavel, but when groups come to town, or when anybody needs anything, you're right there to represent our city. So we all say thank you, and good luck on your next run for the next 3 years as the mayor of Granbury.
I appreciate it, Kevin. I'll try to improve on my guitar playing. Okay? Thank you, Kevin.
Welcome back, and we are joined by newly elected City Councilman Eddie Rodriguez. Number one, congratulations. How does it feel?
It's overwhelming. It's humbling, and it just it's so surreal. It really is. It was a tough race, and I think I worked really hard for it, and it was just really tough.
Okay. Okay, tell us about Eddie Rodriguez, man. That's because a lot of people in the community don't know a lot about you. So tell us who Eddie Rodriguez is.
Well, Eddie Rodriguez is a guy that just joined the military when he was young. And as 17, he did 20 years in the military. He got out in 2012 and then moved here in Granbury.
Okay.
In 2014, he started volunteering for the Granbury, the city of Granbury on zoning board of adjustments, and did charter review commission, and also did I'm currently sitting as the vice chairman of the planning and zoning commission.
Okay.
And I just thought that my next step was city council, so that's why I pursued running for it.
You just took my last question away.
Yes.
Why City Council? Obviously, well, number one, thank you so much for your service, sir, for all those years of serving your country. And now you'll have to come to the Veterans Day thing on Monday that we're having at the high school and be honored as one of the veterans there. But what you've done all this work. Where did in your military? What got you involved in the community? Why did you get involved like that?
Well, when I got out of the military, getting out of the military, you're always conditioned to serve.
Okay.
And when I got out of the military, I just felt a big void in my serving capacity. So I started serving in my church at Stonewater Church, and then I just kind of felt like I wanted to serve in a more of a government capacity.
Okay.
And that's what drove me to start serving with the city of Granbury.
Okay.
And that kind of just laid the foundation of what I wanted to do, and this is where I'm at now.
Okay. All right. Well, this is a big night for you and your family, of course, and I know you've got something that you'd like to say. So, Eddie, go ahead and take care of that. You got a statement.
Just make sure I get everything in here.
Okay.
I just want to thank God for this opportunity, for walking with me through this journey, I also want to give credit to everyone that has dedicated their time, money, and support to help me through this. I believe the power of prayer has been a big impact on me, my family, and everyone involved. I also want to thank my opponent for running a great race. I put a lot of work into this race, but I know the real work is just beginning. Finally, thank you, Granbury, for your vote.
Eddie Rodriguez, new city councilman here in the community. Congratulations,
Thank you
sir,
very much.
and thank you very much. And we'll see you at the next meeting. All right, Eddie Rodriguez, ladies and gentlemen. Folks, that's going to about wrap it up. We've got a huge crowd here for Eddie. That's good stuff. Congratulations to everyone, to Mayor Nen Hewlett. We didn't have any of the other new elected candidates here tonight. We do want to encourage everyone on Friday night to check out Granbury Radio. We will be live for the Granbury Pirate football game. That's Granbury taking on the Saginaw Rough Riders at Saginaw. The importance of this game is Granbury Pirates, for the first time in 6 years, are in the playoffs already. But the importance of this game is they are playing Saginaw to see who finishes third in district. It's going to be a huge game. We're going to have a blast from the past in my broadcast booth. My old partner, Kevin Myers, is coming back in the fold to join me in the broadcasting of that game. A big night. You know how to, I don't know if you know how to get a hold of Granbury Radio. It's very simple. I'll show you how. You just take your phone out. Let me get mine open here. And then you go to the App Store. You go to the App Store. You type in Granbury Radio. See, I've got it right here. It's an app on your phone like that. It plays music. We'll be live for the football game. We have live sports at 7 o'clock at night. So coming up on Friday night, a huge game for Granbury Pirate football. We'll be on the air about 6:45. Kickoff will be at 7 o'clock. And all I got to say is go Pirates. See you there. Thank you so much for joining us. Live election coverage. Thank you, Bethany, and everyone that was involved in this. A great night for Granbury. Great night to be a person that living in Granbury, Texas. Greatest place in the world to be. David Euchre signing off. Have a beautiful night.